we are honored with the presence of Mr. Tavish Sarosh, Legal Consultant of Delhi Police, Mr. Alok Mehta, Senior Scientific Officer from Forensic Science Laboratory, Ms. Sharon Tinil Kumar, Forensic Expert of Delhi Police, Ms. Kirti Gupta, Advocate and Litigation Head from TSA Law Firm, Mr. Chandrajeet Yadav, Associate from TSA Law Firm, Ms. Nasmi, Legal Assistant from TSA Law Firm, and Ms. Shikhar Sanghai, Legal Assistant from TSA Law Firm. Can we please have a huge round of applause for the team? CPJ welcomes you all. We are also honored with the presence of Mr. Yogan Chaturvedi, Director General, Mr. R.D. Jatin, Principal, School of Law, Mr. Dr. Amit Jain, Director Corporate Affairs, Mr. Vikram Pratap Singh, Academic and Discipline in charge, Ms. Sunita Sharma, in charge Student Welfare. I also wish to welcome all the students who are with us today. I hope you all are excited for this workshop. Now, I request the gathering to kindly stand in the honor of a national anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you so much all. We are here with Mr. Tavish Sarosh. Sir has an experience of about 15 years in criminal litigation and forensic investigation. He has completed his LLM in criminal law from National Law University, Jodhpur, and also a research scholar on the topic Fast Track Justice in India with reference to sexual offences from Amity University, Noida, UP. Apart from this, he completed his postgraduate certificate course in forensic science from Department of Anthropology, University of Delhi. Mr. Tavish Sarosh has been appointed as a legal consultant at Delhi Police, where he has been rendering legal opinions, assisting Delhi Police officials in criminal investigation, including the recent famous Kanchawala case. He is actively involved in conducting legal awareness workshops at various NGOs, including Prayas, Janhit, Newton, Ashmita, World Vision, etc., where he makes people of the society aware about their rights, and also lectures are delivered in these NGOs on POSCO Act, Domestic Violence Act, Juvenile Justice Act, etc. He has organized various forensic sessions for the Delhi Police officials. Besides this, more than 100 law students have been trained by him in the field of criminal litigation. Can we please have a huge round of applause for Sir? Now, I would like to invite Mr. Yogan Chaturvedi, Director General and the Pillar of our college, to kindly come up on the stage for a small token of appreciation from CPJ family to Mr. Tavish.
Hi, sir, please.
Hi students, on behalf of CPJ College, all the student fraternity and the management and faculty and all, I take this honor of welcoming Mr. Tavish to our college. this way, because I think that projector's light is coming on your face. We come down here. An applause, please.
Thank you so much, Sabir sir. Now I request Dr. Japan to please join Johan sir on the stage for the felicitation of the team members.
Yes, sir, please show. Yeah, can you speak up? Yeah, that's better.
I request Mr. Alok Mehta, Senior Scientific Officer from Forensic Science Laboratory, to please come on the stage. Can we please call upon Ms. Sheryl Rajat Kumar?
Vijay sir, you come this side, please. Rashi. Yeah, it's okay. You have to sit down. Yeah.
Ms. Kirti Gupta, Advocate and Litigation Head from TSA Law Firm.
Please, ma'am, just go ahead. Just be careful. Get it fast, please.
Can we please have a huge round of applause for them? Can we please have Mr. Chandrajit Yadav, Associate from TSA Law Firm? Ms. Rashmi, Legal Assistant from TSA Law Firm. Ms. Shikha Sanghai, Legal Assistant from TSA Law Firm. Thank you so much, everybody. Can we please have a group photograph, please? Thank you so much, everybody. I request DG sir to kindly stay on the stage and give a warm welcome to the guests and the students.
Won't take more time, my dear students, are already a little late today. And once again, on behalf of CPJ College, I really wholeheartedly welcome Mr. Tamesh and the complete team from the legal path and others who are here to be with us and give some insights about the investigations and into forensics that helps into the crime investigations. Students, as it's been seen with the advent of the technology, as it's coming up worldwide, things are drastically changing. And no two doubts about the same that as it used to be sometime earlier. Can I please have the students at the back over there, Ms. Sunita Sharma? Ms. Sunita Sharma, who are the students who are making any mischief there? Can they be just quiet? Absolutely, and I can see your faces. Meet me after this workshop. Sorry for intervention. Yeah. As the technology has been changing, you would be noticing it, my dear students and everybody. Things are really taking absolute and a complete sea change in investigation into crime and anything related to crime. What 2 decades back or 3 decades back was not even thought of has become a reality today. As I see, recently because of something I was to be at the police station for giving a complaint with a neighbor of mine whose car has been, of course it was being taken away in the night by some thieves and all. And absolutely how it was being taken, it was absolutely beyond the thoughts of anybody. But where the crime investigation started from was the CCTV. There was no CCTV, say, 20 years back or so. A new phenomenon which is coming. From where how they keep getting links of it, As if you go to the newspapers, like I just read a newspaper 2 days back that a lady who was a living partner with the gentleman, there was some religion difference and she was being murdered, killed. And the guy disposed of the body somewhere in East Delhi, Hillville Park, somewhere over there. So like where the body was being found, they started, looking at the CCTV of who had been there. And then they could find that, okay, this guy in the motorcycle with the lady seated at the back. And there are 3 people. There's 2 guys and the lady was in between and the 2 guys in the front and at the back. And they said they're wandering, they're loitering around with their bike quite suspiciously. And after that, they started linking it. They took, CCTVs of nearby areas and they could link it, with a complete thing that 15 minutes back, they say, for example, this is Narela. They're saying, okay, let's say Harishan Park, let's take this. And they could completely elaborate, and link the complete passage of those people. And they could feel that they led themselves through the CCTVs, around 10, 12 CCTV linkages, and they reached a place from where the lady was being murdered and taken from that house. And they were being recognized by those people, they stay in this locality, in that house, and like that. So this is how things are happening, and I'm not a scientific or a professional into it, which Mr. Tabesh and others over here are, who would elaborate more on that. As a layman, I can feel that technology definitely is adding wonders to the investigative mechanism as it is, and no two doubts about it. जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी एडवेंट कर रही है, हर चीज में उसका जो इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है, उसका नेचुरली क्राइम इन्वेस्टिगेशन में और फोरेंसिक्स में, with the medical advent also, with the medical sciences also going to great heights. These both things are technology with medicine advancement. I think so. This is giving a great field to where the forensics stands towards crime investigations. I really welcome Tabesh and your complete team and the legal team here from the firm. So much of a welcome, a wholehearted welcome to CPJ College. It's not just the School of Law students that is going to be great for you. It's something of a great knowledge to any layman student also, like coming from any kind of a stream, from any course. Because I suppose so this is what one should be knowing oneself when one is living in a society, one is living in a place, and should be aware of the fact that how you are being protected by the police and the law and whatever that surrounds you and governs you. So thank you so much, and Mr. Abesh once again welcome you to the CPJ College. The whole team which is over here, welcome you all, parents and sirs. Thank you so much. Thank you, students. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Ms. Sharon to please come up on the stage, and without any further delay, we'll start with the workshop. Can you please have a huge round of applause for Ms. Sharon?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure that almost everyone has an idea of what is. I'm sure almost everyone in this auditorium has an idea of what is forensic science, because you guys must have heard of it for sure. So, being law students, which I think most of my audience are law students, so I want to know is that how far do you think, just say yes or no, how far do you think it is important? Hello? How far do you think it is important to have forensic science as an important stream in helping in law base? What do you think? Yes or no? How important it is? Yes, it is important, or it is not important to have forensic science? Do you have any idea what it is? What is forensic science? No? Is it going to be a dull session? Because I feel like none of them are saying yes or no. I'm asking the audience, yes or no? Yes. Yes. So I don't want to take a dragging session saying science and that and this. No. We are going to the whole point. Let's just deep down, just go to the whole concept of what is forensic science, because you must be having a small brief idea about forensic science through text or any sort of series, which is all based on crime series and everything. That's not all. There is more towards forensic science than that. Okay. Forensic science is actually a basic science that helps both law and use medical legal terms so that it advances and helps out law to justify how important and how can we justify the cases, criminal laws or be it in civil laws. Okay. In forensic science, on the basis of criminal laws, it can be sexual assault, it can be murder, it can be any sort of heinous crimes, it can also be basic crimes also, that can be theft, burglary, as well as robbery, or even sometimes suspicious suicides. Then there are also civil laws, which can be bank thefts, and then so many sort of document forgeries, and any sort of currency forgeries. These are also a part of forensic science that we handle with. When we look into forensic science, it is as the advancement with time, like how Sir mentioned, with the advancement of time, the type of crimes has also changed, the criminal behaviors has also changed, and the way it is being manifested to make it all happen is also changed, because anyone and everyone is having access to internet, isn't it? So it is so easy to go into any sort of websites or any sort of links and take some certain information of how to hack into anyone's personal belongings, example in a mobile, into their bank details or be it even their documents. They can take these important evidence, these important basic personal documents through certain links or through certain viruses or bugs, so that they can actually take your information easily. Even they can even use certain type of knowledge through internet to even make a framed work of criminal behavior also. They can learn some certain things medical legal ways to how to attack a person and how it can be actually traced into, and certain type of mannerism, so that these versions of behavior can be actually accessed actually behaves and how it can be done is through this certain type of understanding of how they use science to actually do this criminal behavior. And it is very easy for people to say that, like, you know, like, I just, like, in this generation of criminal behavior, they just say, like, yeah, I just killed that person. It just happens so. It is that easy now for people to do it, and it is that easy for them to be ruthless because of the advancement of how they have been portrayed in front of people. So forensic science is like understanding criminal behavior as well as understanding the modus operandi and getting the link towards certain type of exhibits and evidences, how they actually take this whole behavior into consideration, how they actually like process the whole session into it. So this is very important, that forensic science is one of the major, like, crucial type of science that helps law to help them out to drag down who is the culprit and who is the innocent. So in forensic science, there are so many branches. Okay, forensic science is not just like a basic science, just physics and chemistry and biochemistry. No, it has more than that. There is physics, chemistry, bio. Obviously, that's the basic one. After that, there is more advancement. There is toxicology. There is ballistics. There is serology. You'll be wondering, what is she saying? I'm saying is that the learning of guns is ballistics. The learning of poisons are toxicology. The learning of fluids, like body fluids, is known as serology. And the understanding of cyber security and forensic computer science is two different things, because in computer science it's on the basis of like hardware and how these are being used with like viruses on certain type of like computer systems, and whereas like cyber security is hacking into the software. How they hack into the software is known as cyber security. And anthropology, odontology, medicine and entomology. Anthropology is on the basis of learning anthropology is learning of bones and the skeletal system. So in a crime scene one of the crime scenes, I have gone to multiple crime scenes. In one of the certain crime scenes that I have actually dealt with, I just got a call in Sarai Kalika. They said that, like, madam, there is a skeletal system that we found. Can you come and check? I said, like, okay. And I went there, and I searched the crime scene, and then I found limbs. So it was in actually a construction area. In the corner of the construction area, there is skull, there is a limb together. And then when I started searching the whole area, that's when I found on the other corner, there is two limbs. And on the other corner, I find fingers and then like a hand. So I was wondering, is that like the hand was all flimsy. It was not properly seen, and it was the skin material was all like, when you wash your hand in soap for a long time, how it becomes all wrinkly. Exactly the same. Okay. So that's how it looked like. And I was like, see, we read the criminal behaviors that is happening nowadays. So I read about certain cases, and I understood one thing is that to chop a person's body, first they chop it and they use a really hard weapon and they chop it. And because it's not, their human bodies are quite stronger than any, like, you know, other animal like mutton or chicken, right? So they require a really hard kind of a weapon to actually chop the body of a human. And after taking the body, chopping, they obviously need to preserve it for some time to reduce the amount of smell around the area, because it's not normal for them to do it in out open, to chop it as well as, like, you know, keep it inside, preserve it. So it takes time. So all these things, they need to do it inside, indoor. And in Delhi, I don't think it's that easy for people to do it in a basement. So they do it inside a flat, and around the flat areas there will be smell that will come around if you're chopping a body and keeping. So they keep it inside some certain chemicals. They use it in a concentrated salt material. So that it will be preserved for a long time. And these bodies are these parts of the bodies are put in different containers, and they are being preserved. And after period of time, they throw it in different locations. So I got to know that when I saw the skull and I saw the pelvis is quite narrow. How a women's, like, from niche it's like a little wide, but a little narrow towards the beginning, towards the top. And I understood it was a female's body. And also when I started checking for the other locations, I understood it is definitely a female's body because I found hair. I found long hair. So there is a certain type of link of how to understand in a skeletal system if it is a female or if it is a male, how old it is, how tall it is. All of those bases we can understand from even the base of the skull or the pelvis, and even with the parts of the skeletal system. So that for that reason we need anthropology. Odontology is the use of dental records, and when I checked the body, there was like the dental records were also being like seen that, like, the in female dental records it's a little more smaller and tiny, midget type, whereas like males are a little more bigger in size when it comes to their dental records. And medicine and entomology. Entomology is the learning of insects, the growth of insects on any certain part of like decayed or decomposed body material. Fingerprints, as you know, it's important in forensic science. The most important and the most traced is fingerprints. Document examination, voice analysis, forensic psychology is the learning of the psychological behavior of any criminal behavior, as well as the certain type of psychological mannerism. Narco-analysis and DNA profiling. In narco-analysis, it's on the basis of understanding the narcotics for testing the truth serum, use of truth serum, and as well as the certain type of truth mechanism for actually getting the information from the criminal behaviors. From all the criminal intrication, there is an importance of some certain use of chemicals that can actually give a truth serum, so that they can end up telling you the truth for whatever behavior they have done. And it is required that you need to go through some legal actions for actually going along with the narco analysis. In all this in consideration, it is important to understand forensic science is very much an important trace of going through when it comes to a crime scene investigation as well. We need to use all sorts of science when it comes to the importance of investigating in a crime scene. And when we enter into a crime scene, it's just not on the basis of a body. It's not on the basis of dead body. Sometimes in a crime scene, it's not necessary you will get a dead body. You can just get some certain pieces of evidences at the crime scene itself. It can be even a ligature hanging on a fan. It can be even a small needle that can be standing on the end of the room, and it should be having a blood stain which you didn't notice. And it can even be a knife. It can be also a gun. It can be anything. Anything can be a weapon if you know how to use it as a weapon. So it is important to understand that, like in a crime scene, any way of attack is quite possible, and this can actually be any sort of trace evidences. Hair can be a trace evidence. It can be even blood. It can be any sort of fluid. That can be also alcohol or any chemical that can be seen seen at the crime scene, and anything can turn into a trace evidence that can be important for investigation and tracing of the manner of how the certain type of crime has taken place. So the most important thing is that the changes that has taken place in forensic science has been quite drastic, and it is important that there are so much technology and the analysis has been gratified so that it is being used in worldwide in multiple ways, because it can be anything can be an evidence in this basis. And in a crime scene, it is important to understand that like you should identify. It's important is that first you secure a crime scene. First of all, the crime scene should be always secured, because anytime you enter into a crime scene and disturb it, then what is the point of like using it as an evidence? Crime scene itself is an evidence, so you need to secure it, and always the crime scene is secured by police professionals. After that, after the crime scene is being secured, then you enter into the crime scene and we start documenting it. Photography karte hain. Like complete place is being photographed in the entire session, and videography is being done. And when we start we start searching in the crime scene, we will identify certain parts of the crime scene, what is important and what is not important. When you go into a crime scene, depends if there is blood stain on the bed. If there is no blood stain or if there is no important material on the bed, then it's not necessary that it can be an important exhibit. And how will you take this entire bed to a Malkana and keep? No, right? So it is important to understand that what certain parts of the bed or what certain part of the cloth materials are actually considered as an evidence. And when we collect these evidences, we need to preserve it, and we have different methods of collecting. For collecting a body fluid is different from collecting a fingerprint material. It is different also for physical materials like ballistical materials like guns, or else be even like cartridge cases, or else even bullet materials. These are all being preserved in different manners. So it is important that it is collected and as well as preserved in a right manner, and you re-analyze the entire crime scene, search it, and being law students, you can even question like forensic experts. Did you actually search the crime scene properly and did you preserve it in this certain manner? It is a possibility that this certain manner of collection can be also wrong, and you have an idea that this certain manner of collection was not appropriate, which can actually like tamper the evidences that we have collected. It is important to understand these collected evidences from the crime scene are being reconstructed after collection also, and so that we can trace down how the link of the certain type of exhibits are being found. It is important to go into each and every step in further, and we sketch it and note it down what is the measurements between these certain evidences and how it is being collected and how it is being actually preserved. These things are also important, and it comes to a conclusion that what has been done is actually in the favor of the right party, and we can understand if it is going in the right direction also, if the case is going to. In a crime scene management, it is important to understand how we can establish like the modus operandi, and how can we link between like the criminal and the crime and the victims, and evaluating the pattern of event, how it must have taken place, and helps in eliminating of the innocence in all sense. So it is important to understand like in every crime scene, you have to preserve all sorts of exhibits. It can be even a bottle. It can be a glass bottle which would be having multiple fingerprints around it, and how it is supposed to be seen and checked into. And these are quite important perspectives of how it is unique. No one person will have the similar fingerprints. Everyone has very unique fingerprints. And it is important to understand that no twins can have the same fingerprints. It is important to understand that like each and every finger has different prints of its own. And in that manner, it is important to understand that like the DNA materials of any sort can be also an important part of genetics. So in this consideration, we should understand that how the body fluids are also being taken and actually being preserved. And we have actually we have a crime scene that we have put up after this session, after the theoretical session. Now, after the theoretical session, we will actually show you how a crime scene is preserved and how the exhibits are being collected and preserved, and what is the most important part of it, and how certain type of exhibits are being examined. Example like documents and fingerprints. Thank you.
Now I request Kirti ma'am to please come up on the stage and guide the students further. Can we please have a huge round of applause for Kirti ma'am?
Okay, so good afternoon everyone. अभी बहुत देर से शायद मैम आप लोगों को सबको फॉरेंसिक साइंस के बारे में बता रही थी. So अभी तक तो बहुत कुछ आप लोगों ने सुना और सीख लिया होगा कि फॉरेंसिक साइंस एक्चुअली क्या होता है. क्या मुझे कोई बता सकता है बीइंग लॉ ग्रेजुएट्स या फिर बीइंग लॉ स्टूडेंट्स हम लोगों के लिए क्या नेसेसिटी है कि हम लोगों को फॉरेंसिक साइंस के बारे में पता होना चाहिए? अभी तक किसी के माइंड में क्वेश्चन नहीं आया कि व्हाई बीइंग द लॉ ग्रेजुएट्स और लॉ स्टूडेंट्स वी आर स्टडीइंग फॉरेंसिक साइंस?
मैम किसी बेगुनाह को सजा ना मिल जाए इसलिए.
किसने आंसर किया? प्लीज स्टैंड अप. हाँ बताओ.
मैम किसी बेगुनाह को सजा ना मिले इसलिए फॉरेंसिक साइंस जरूरी है.
अच्छा ओके ओके. एनीवन एल्स? कोई और बता सकते हैं क्यों हमारे लिए फॉरेंसिक साइंस जरूरी है? प्लीज स्टैंड अप एंड आंसर. ओके, टू नो द इंटेंशन बिहाइंड द क्राइम. और
एक्चुअल एविडेंस पता होना चाहिए.
अच्छा और ओके. एनीथिंग एल्स? ओके, केस में स्पीड ना हो जाए. ओके. सो हमारे पास बहुत सारे आंसर्स आए हैं यहाँ पर कि फॉर एग्जांपल टू गेट द एविडेंसेस, या फिर किसी बेगुनाह को सजा नहीं होनी चाहिए, या फिर हम लोग किसी अपराधी को छोड़ ना दें. ऑब्वियसली अगर ऐसा ना हो जाए कि हम लोग विटनेसेस पे हम लोग रिलाई करते रह जाएं और विटनेसेस जो है हॉस्टाइल हो जाए, हमारा केस जो है पूरा डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाए प्रोसिक्यूशन की साइड से. सो जब हम फॉरेंसिक साइंस की बात करते हैं तो इट इज नॉट वन वे थिंग कि आप सोचो कि हम लोग सिर्फ प्रोसिक्यूशन की साइड से हम सोचे या फिर सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक्यूज की साइड से सोचे. इट हैज टू गो एज अ बैलेंस. दोनों साइड्स को बैलेंस करने के लिए फॉरेंसिक साइंस जो है और फॉरेंसिक एविडेंसेस जो हैं वो आजकल बहुत ज़्यादा डिमांड में है. फॉरेंसिक साइंस की जो फील्ड है बहुत ज़्यादा यूज में आ रही है विद द एडवांसमेंट इन द टेक्नोलॉजी. अच्छा मुझे एक और चीज़ बता दो कि अभी तक सब लोगों ने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को पढ़ी लिया होगा. तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट आर्टिकल कौन सा है? When we talk about the fundamental rights of the citizens, तो सबसे important fundamental right कौन सा है हम लोगों का? Article 20, Article 14, or is it Article 21? Which one?
21.
Okay, so Article 21 जो है हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का सबसे important जो fundamental right है वो है. ठीक है. सो कितनी लाइन्स का आर्टिकल है 21? कितनी लाइन्स का आर्टिकल है आर्टिकल 21? आई थिंक 2 लाइन्स में खत्म हो जाता है. फिर इस सेंस में हम लोग आर्टिकल 21 में फेयर इन्वेस्टिगेशन को समझते हैं। What do you mean by fair investigation? बताओ। फेयर इन्वेस्टिगेशन जो होती है वो हम लोग फेयर इन्वेस्टिगेशन का मतलब होता है कि दोनों राइट्स जो है, दोनों पार्टीज के राइट्स जो है उनको बैलेंस आउट करना। मतलब अगर प्रोसिक्यूशन की साइड से हमें ऐसा लगता है कि एक्यूज जो है उसके खिलाफ हमारे पास सफिशिएंट एविडेंसेस है एंड जो पर्सन है वो एक्चुअली कल्प्रिट है, तो वो किसी भी तरीके से लॉ का फायदा उठा के बच ना जाए, या फिर अगर कोई पर्सन है उसको फॉल्सली इंडिकेट अगर किया गया है, देन उस केस में जो एक्यूज है उसको फेवर करने के लिए, उसके राइट्स को बैलेंस आउट करने के लिए भी फेयर इन्वेस्टिगेशन जो है इक्वली वर्क करता है। ठीक है। अब क्या किसी ने, एक बहुत ही फेमस केस है तंदूर मर्डर केस, क्या किसी ने कभी सुना है इस केस के बारे में? क्या है ये केस? क्या कोई बता सकता है? नैना कहानी मर्डर केस सुना है ना? एक दूसरे को मत बताओ, मुझे बता दो।
अशोक यात्री निवास में तंदूर नैना सानी, I think she was in trial, she was a practicing advocate only, and he burned her body in the tandoor.
जी जी। सो इस केस में जो ये एक्यूज थे उन्होंने नैना सानी की जो बॉडी है उसको तंदूर में जला के उन्हें मार दिया था। तो सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक फिंगर मिली थी इस केस में, एंड उस फिंगर से डीएनए एक्सट्रैक्शन के थ्रू फॉरेंसिक साइंस अप्लाई करके इस केस में जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन है उसको कंप्लीट किया गया था, एंड उससे पता लगा था कि ये बॉडी किस पर्सन की है एंड एक्चुअल कल्प्रिट कौन है। सो दिस वाज द फर्स्ट केस जो कि फॉरेंसिक साइंस की हेल्प से सॉल्व किया गया था। देयर इज वन मोर वेरी फेमस केस, क्या किसी ने नारायण दत्त तिवारी जो है उनका नाम सुना है? किसी ने सुना है? नारायण दत्त तिवारी जो है he was a famous politician and उनके किसी ने सुना है नाम?
Yes, students at the back. I request all the students to kindly maintain the decorum. I know you are all very excited to go to the actual crime scene which has been designed specifically for you. Please pay attention here. It will be very much fun if you could make this an interactive session. Actually, souvenirs have been kept here for the students. If any student is able to give correct answers to ma'am, and if ma'am says that yes, this answer is correct, we will be giving the souvenirs to the students. So please pay attention and please answer to ma'am. Okay?
Yes. So नारायण दत्त तिवारी केस जो है, it is a very famous case. यहाँ पर भी क्या हुआ था? It is not a criminal case, but यहाँ पर जो नारायण दत्त तिवारी हैं, उनके एक बेटे थे जो कि he was a son of not his wife, but he had some extramarital affair. तो उनके बेटे थे वो, and he refused कि ये मेरे बेटे नहीं है। So जो उनका बेटा था वो हाई कोर्ट जाता है, and हाई कोर्ट में उन्होंने केस डाला कि मेरे जो फादर है नारायण दत्त तिवारी, उनको कंपेल किया जाए कि उनसे मेरा डीएनए जो है मैच किया जाए, एंड इट शुड बी कंक्लूडेड दैट ही इज माय फादर। सो इन दिस केस हाई कोर्ट जो है उन्होंने कंपेल किया था नारायण दत्त तिवारी को टू गिव हिज सैंपल्स, और लेटर ऑन डीएनए रिपोर्ट से ये पता लगा था कि यस ही इज द सन ऑफ नारायण दत्त तिवारी। सो जो हमारा फॉरेंसिक साइंस है, इट इज नॉट ओनली यूजफुल इन स्टेट केसेस और क्रिमिनल केसेस but also civil disputes. Also क्या आप लोगों ने, अब ये इस क्वेश्चन में तो आई डोंट थिंक कि किसी को भी नहीं पता होगा, क्या किसी ने सुशांत सिंह राजपूत केस के बारे में सुना है? ये फाइनली समथिंग। ओके, सो सुशांत सिंह राजपूत की केस के बारे में कोई मुझे बता सकता है? What was it all about? And what was the end conclusion in this case? Was it considered as a murder or suicide? तो इसमें ना एक बहुत ही नया टर्म इन्वेंट हुआ था, क्या कोई मुझे उस टर्म के बारे में कुछ बता सकता है? There is a term साइकोलॉजिकल ऑटोप्सी, जो कि इसी केस में फर्स्ट टाइम यूज हुआ है। इस केस में क्या हुआ था कि जैसे कि बहुत इसमें स्टोरीज आ रही थी कि कुछ पैटर्न उनका इस तरीके से सुसाइड से पहले देखने को मिल रहा था, दैट ही वाज डिप्रेस्ड, और कुछ इस तरीके से उनके साथ चीजें हो रही थी कि वो बहुत ज्यादा मेंटली डिप्रेशन में थे और मेंटली टेंस थे, और इस तरीके से उनके बिहेवियरल पैटर्न्स थे दैट ही हैड सुसाइडल टेंडेंसीज। तो इस केस में सुसाइड को कंक्लूड करने के लिए साइकोलॉजिकल ऑटोप्सी का यूज किया गया था। जो भी वो पहले अपने सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट्स पे पोस्ट डालते थे या जो उनके बिहेवियरल पैटर्न्स थे सुसाइड से पहले, उन सबको स्टडी करके उनके नेबर्स फ्रेंड्स सबसे बात करके फाइनली कंक्लूड किया गया था आफ्टर साइकोलॉजिकल ऑटोप्सी दैट ही हैड सुसाइडल टेंडेंसीज एंड देन इट वाज कंसीडर्ड एज अ सुसाइड। ठीक है, so from these case studies I'm trying to tell you that forensic science is a very important part when it comes to legal studies। और being advocates जब हम लोग कोर्ट में जाते हैं तो जब केसेस में आर्ग्यू करने की बात आती है या एविडेंसेस को एनालाइज करने की बात आती है, तो हम ही लोग हैं जो कोर्ट को इंटरप्रेट करके बताते हैं कि क्या एविडेंसेस हैं जो कि प्रोसिक्यूशन को हेल्प कर सकती है, क्या एविडेंसेस है जो कि डिफेंस को हेल्प कर सकती है। So that is why forensic science plays a very important role in our career. ठीक है? So thank you everyone.
हेलो, आप लोगों ने फॉरेंसिक के बारे में काफी नॉलेज ले ली यहाँ से, थ्योरेटिकल नॉलेज। अब हम लोग जो प्रैक्टिकल करेंगे उसको हमें कैसे करना है वो आपको डिसाइड करना है। सबसे पहले हम डॉक्यूमेंट एग्जामिनेशन करेंगे। डॉक्यूमेंट एग्जामिनेशन में हमारे पास चेक है, करेंसी नोट्स हैं और पासपोर्ट है। तो आपने देखा होगा कि सिक्योरिटी फीचर्स आजकल फेक पासपोर्ट सबसे ज्यादा यूज हो रहा है। फेक पासपोर्ट है, चेक्स है। आप लोग जब कोर्ट में काम करोगे तो आपके पास 138 के केसेस काफी आएंगे जिनके अंदर आप चेक बाउंस इससे रिलेटेड चीजें आप देखोगे। तो अगर आपको कुछ फीचर्स मालूम चलते हैं कि कैसे एक पोस्ट चेक को कैसे पहचाना जाए, तो आपको वहां पर एक आसानी होगी। सेकंड थिंग, जो चेक के सिग्नेचर्स हैं उनको कैसे आइडेंटिफाई किया जाता है, ये भी हम आप एक ब्रीफ डेमो देंगे। पासपोर्ट के अंदर जितने भी सिक्योरिटी फीचर्स हैं जो अल्ट्रावायलेट लैंप के थ्रू हम देखेंगे। थर्ड वन, जो करेंसीज हैं, करेंसीज के अंदर भी आपने देखा होगा पेट्रोल पंप पर जब आप जाते हो 500 का नोट देते हो तो नोट वाला पेट्रोल पंप वाला ऐसे उसको देखता है। तो मुझे समझ नहीं आता वो क्या देखता है, वो कहता है इसमें एक तार है। तो वो जो एक तार है, जो एक स्ट्रिप है, उसको कैसे एक्चुअली कैसे हमें एनालाइज करना वो भी हम आज सीखेंगे। सेकंड पार्ट, फिंगरप्रिंट। जैसे अभी मैम ने बताया था कि दो लोगों के सेम फिंगरप्रिंट नहीं हो सकते। जब आप कोर्ट के अंदर जाओगे, कोर्ट के अंदर आपके पास मान लीजिए फोर्ज बिल लेकर आता है, तो जाली बिल ले आता है अपने फादर की, या कोई भी ऐसा डॉक्यूमेंट जिसके अंदर प्रॉपर्टी का और सेल डीड हो या कोई भी डीड हो जिसके अंदर फिंगरप्रिंट है, तो आप कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करोगे कि ये फिंगरप्रिंट जो है वो एक्चुअल है कि नहीं है, या ये भी एक पोज है। तो हम लोग एक प्रैक्टिकल सीखेंगे डॉक्यूमेंट एग्जामिनेशन का। सेकंड वन हम प्रैक्टिकल सीखेंगे फिंगरप्रिंट का। आफ्टर दैट जब आप फिंगरप्रिंट और डॉक्यूमेंट एग्जामिनेशन कर लोगे, देन हम मूव करेंगे क्राइम सीन इन्वेस्टिगेशन की तरफ, और जहां पर हम ये देखेंगे कि एक मर्डर केस है या एक बॉडी हमें सस्पेक्ट मिली है, उस बॉडी को हमें आइडेंटिफाई करना है कि उसका मर्डर हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ है। वहां पुलिस कैसे एंटर करती है क्राइम सीन में, कैसे वो इन्वेस्टिगेशन करती है, क्राइम सीन को कैसे सिक्योर करती है, कैसे उसकी फोटोग्राफी होती है, और कैसे कैसे पुलिस एविडेंस कलेक्ट करती है और उसको फॉरेंसिक साइंस लेबोरेटरी फॉरेंसिक एग्जामिनेशन के लिए भेजा जाता है। तो ये सारा एक प्रोसेस है जो कि आपको आज पूरा लाइव देखने को मिलेगा। और इस कोर्स से, इस वर्कशॉप से आपको ये फायदा होगा कि जब आप पब्लिक प्रोसिक्यूटर बनते हैं या आप जज बनेंगे या फिर आप कॉर्पोरेट में जाएंगे, किसी भी फील्ड में अगर आप जाते हैं तो वहाँ पर फॉरेंसिक का यूज होगा। तो हम लोग 10-10 का यहाँ से एक लाइन बनाएंगे। लाइन बनाने के बाद पहले काउंटर पर पहले टेबल पर आप जाएंगे, वहाँ पर डॉक्यूमेंट एग्जामिनेशन होगा। जब वो 10 लोग वो लोग कर लेंगे, देन मूव टू नेक्स्ट, राइट। आफ्टर कंप्लीशन ऑफ योर वर्कशॉप certificate will be given, right? So,
Thank you so much, team. अब practical का time आ गया है students. I request Prachi ma'am to please take the students in slots of 10. As soon as they're done with the document review, please inform us so that we